Just give me 1 minute, huh? 1 minute only. वाईफाई वगैरह थोड़ा इस्तेमाल मत करो वाईफाई यहाँ पे
Hello and welcome. Hope you all are safe and doing well. We are back with a new Fresh Talk this weekend. Thank you all for enrolling in this event. Excellent Excel welcomes you all. Let me give a gist about Excellent Excel. Excellent Excel is a data analytics firm that solves high impact business problems using data and technology. We provide end-to-end services in the field of data analytics and data visualization. Our core services include analytics, consultancy, and training. Excellent Excel presents the popular talk show EiEFreshTalk on its YouTube channel, where it hosts great leaders and subject matter experts in various fields from India and abroad to speak regularly on a variety of topics ranging from Excel to analytics and finance to financial modeling and many more. Few of our past events are new formulas in MS Excel and its use cases by CA Vijay Agarwal, rich data types in MS Excel by Paula Guilfoyle, secret lookup functions that deserve your love by Alan Murray, and automate sending emails from MS Excel using VBA scripts by Patrick Samborski. Today's talk is about time for automation, Power Query, and Power Automate, presented by Mr. Faraz Shaikh. Mr. Faraz Shaikh works in the field of supply chain logistics and has experience of over 10 years. He has huge passion for Excel and helps the user community in automating tasks, lightening up the business with robust and effective solutions, and to improve the productivity at workplace. Over the last couple of years, he has been designing and delivering Microsoft Office training courses to students and professionals at various levels. He is also a certified supply chain professional, CISCP, Microsoft certified trainer, Microsoft Innovative Educator, and certified Microsoft Office Master. You can know more about him from his YouTube channel, Faraz Shaikh. He is the owner of the website www.excelexciting.com, where he regularly posts blogs and manages forums. We welcome you, sir. Before we begin, I request participants to join me in welcoming today's speaker with a hi in the chat section. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box. We will later present it to the speaker. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Aline. Thank you so much, and welcome everybody. And I'll be just sharing my screen right now. Great. So it's nice to see all you over here. And as Excel and Excel, I've been quite in touch with Deepak and the team. They're doing quite good job, and it's a good, to have all of you over here during this pandemic time. We are doing our best to, share our knowledge, and which can ease your task and definitely. So let's look today. What do we have it? But before that, I'll be just having a short survey. This is a link, you can just scan this QR code, or you can just type this link, and you can just fill that form, so we can just know each other very well, because we know today's session is about Power Query and Power Automate. So, and I'll be checking the responses over here. Great. So I think Eileen will take care. She'll add that link to the chat window, and even it was available on the YouTube comments link, so you can get it from there. So meantime, you update that information. You guys have already talked about Excel, and Excel has already talked about me. And I'm the founder of excelexciting.com, and I usually post my blogs over there. I'm a YouTuber. I post about YouTube, a super contributor at Microsoft Tech Community, Microsoft certified trainer, and innovative educator is all mentioned about me over there. So what I do basically at Excel Exciting, okay, apart from my profession in Excel Exciting, I do consulting, I do group training, and even if it is required to do hourly mentoring, I do that. How can you find me is you can find me on all these social media accounts: Excel Exciting, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can connect me on the LinkedIn as well, and you can go and register yourself on my forums where I frequently answer the questions over there as well. So today goal is to work smart, not hard. So how many of you are like these days struggling, like you guys have target and that has to be done. So we everybody want to work smart, not hard. So let me just go back and see. Awesome. Wow. This is great. Now right now I'm using forms. So this forms is like, giving me an nice overview. But what about like if I need this report to be done in Excel? Then I would just like go and open in Excel and prepare the report. But these responses are dynamic. These are coming again and again. And my boss, he needs a dashboard where he needs the data in the real time. So I have already prepared a small, data set over here in the Power BI. When I just click refresh, it is automatically getting connected to the form. And in one eye view, I'm getting all that information over here, that where how many total inputs are there and how many people they know about Power Query and know about Power Automate and what are the versions they are using. So let's see again. So we got a data within fractions of seconds, the data is getting updated. So this is real time. So if I go and extract the information from here, I need to go and work and again on that same report. But using Power Automate, using Power BI, the technologies what we have, we had just made our job easy, and we got everything over here. Great. So awesome. So I need some help from the people, those who are knowing Power Query over here. Huh? And great. So numbers are going good. Okay. So people, those who are having 2007, I'm really sorry to say you will not have that functionality of the Power Query, but it's no harm. You can watch the session and later on you can change the mind and you can upgrade it to your Excel version. And those who are having Excel 2000, Office 2013 and 10, then you need an add-in to get it downloaded from the Microsoft website. And I'll be sharing the link later on. Where is the download link? So let's get back to the business and work smart, not hard. Now, to work smart, not hard means we need two tools. Microsoft has some amazing tools available. They have a lot of great tools. But here today, we are going to talk about Power Query and Power Automate. Now, in Power Query, the techniques today we are going to learn is the techniques that how to clean that data, doing VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP in Power Query, combining the data from multiple sources, and then we are going to generate a nice report. And let's see how we will be able to do that. And coming to Power Automate, I'll be doing a little bit about introduction, different types of triggers which we'll be looking to it, and how we can send bulk emails, using Power Automate. You can do a lot of stuff with Power Automate, but this is just one tip of the iceberg, which I'll show it to you. Great. So my friends, those who are unaware, let me see how's the session going on. Great. So my friends, those who are unaware, what is Power Query? Power Query is basically an ETL tool, which means that you extract the information, you transform it, and then you load it. So what does it mean? It's like whenever you have any kind of a data, you are extracting it, uh, you are doing the transformation and then loading it to a report. The same, it means that only the ETL, extract, transform, load. Any kind of report when you will prepare, you get it from somebody, you will extract it, then you will do the lot of cleaning tasks, and then you load it to the report. So what kind of extraction we do in Power Query? We can extract CSV files, we can extract Excel files, databases, data from data warehouses, from real-time data, and even the website's information. So you can scrape the data from the website as well. And how can the main magic happens over here, the transformation phase, the cleaning, shaping, reshaping of your data, it happens in the transformation phase. And finally, once everything is ready, the cake is ready, we can then serve it. We can load it into Excel tables, you can load it into pivot tables and data models and connection. Before I go and jump into the Power Query, my friends, let me tell you that you will be learning when I'll be teaching, showing you all the stuff over here about Power Query. The same stuff is applicable for Power BI as well. So when you're watching this session, you are learning about two applications. One is about Excel and one about Power Query. So isn't it great? So let's look our scenario, how it is, the business scenario. So far, if any questions are there about Power Query, please feel free to write in the chat window, or you can please unmute yourself and you can feel free to ask me as well. So the scenario, the business scenario, what we have right now. So we have like two Excel files and we have a PDF. Now what we need to combine those records, okay? And combine, and then we need to make a nice looking report. We need to make a nice dashboard. And this could be possible earlier with VBA, but that needs a lot of time. But Power Query is nothing but one click refresh solution. So you can see this nice guy, this is Zenzo. You can find him on my YouTube channel. He's coming up sometime in between and he's giving us some nice tips and tricks. So you can check him out also over there. So let's jump to the demo and let's look what do we have for today. So you can download this Excel file, and I think the link is also available over there on the YouTube link. You can download these files, so you'll find it in this fashion. So let me go and open the Excel for you. Super. So when we open Excel, the Power Query is located over here in Data ribbon tab. Now in the Data ribbon tab, when you go and get data, okay, get data, and you have all these amazing connections. You can get your data from workbook, CSV, XML, JSON, PDF, and even you can get it from the folder. So today we are going to check, these two connections, and even you can get it from Azure, and you can get it even your email account. So it is so powerful that you can grab the data, shape it, and then you can make awesome reports. So let me go and get the data from PDF first. So in my folder over here, if you see about Power Query, you will have all these data, so we have all these data sets over here. We have the price table. Let me show you the price table first, how it looks in the PDF. So you can see, this price table is like confidential price table. It was updated on 8th of December. We have different products and we have their dates, what were their prices and how the management have approved them. And coming and looking to our sales report. Okay, let me cancel this. Okay. Yeah, so this is our sales data over here. So we have like the order number, we have the date, road, and the mode of shipment, and basically the origin and the type of purchase channel. It was online or stores, and the product and the quantity itself. So we have these information available over here. The first most important thing. Whenever you get any kind of a data, spend some time with the data. Analyze the pattern of the data, note it down that what are the things you need to clean in your data, and then you start building up your query. And some things happen during the process, so that is great. And something you need to like first decide that, okay, fine, you have some kind of a data, you need to clean it, you have an PDF files, you need to connect those. So just roughly write it down and then try to build up your query so you don't get lost somewhere. And just go get data from PDF. So the PDF file which we have seen over here, so it would be on my desktop. Perfect. Excel and Excel, and get data from PDF. Oh no, not this one. Power Query and price table. So it's going to go and get and connect. And by the way, this is available only for Office 365 users. Get data from PDF. So in case if you don't have Office 365, my friends, then I'm sorry, you will not get that connector. So you can see now, once we have connected to the PDF, it is nicely, put it into the table, and it has given the entire page, and it has given me into a table form. So if you have some information which is in table, it will just show it to you in the table form over here. So let's go and select the table and transform the data. So now this is the query editor, where all the magic happens. The transformation, the T letter, which I showed it to you in my presentation, this is a place where all the magic happens. Now, looking this data, I have this product ID, and then I have some confidential price table, which was the header, and I don't need those kind of an information. So this is just distracting me on the way of my data. The first thing what I will do is that remove the change type. So this is the query setting pane. Okay, so whatever the steps you will do, it's like exactly like a macro. So it will record the steps, whatever you're going to do. Like if I'm going to just delete this column, then that step has got recorded. You can see over here. And this is the query pane. So whatever the queries are getting connected over here, you can find them over here. Coming to the just coming to the view area, and in the view area, just check this button monospaced and make sure that your formula bar is enabled. If it is not enabled, just make sure that you enable it, because it's a good way, you can learn a lot of Power Query through this formula bar. And I learned a lot of M language. Basically M language is uh, that is what is being over here in the Power Query. So you learn that language when you see the steps, what is happening over here. So here, the first thing, the most important thing, give your
Faraz,
table a nice name. Yes, Jeff?
Faraz, sorry to disturb you. Is it
Yeah.
possible to zoom in so that members can see? There's some
Okay,
request.
sure. I
Thank you.
will
Sorry to disturb.
try to zoom. No problem, Jeff. Okay, so the first thing what I will do is that change the table name, the query name itself. The query I would like to call is my price table, PRS price table. Perfect. So now this price table, enter. Now, when I have this price table, now I don't need this row number 1. So what I can do, I can go home, okay, and I can just say, um, where is that? Okay, remove the top row. Now it will ask me how many rows I need to remove them. So I just need to remove 1. And then these all steps, I just need to use them as a header. So I will use it as a header. The first row, use it as a header. So we have an option over here, use first row as headers. Perfect. Okay, I will just keep this magnifier here. So we got this data set right now, and I got it into the structure what I needed. But for the time being, I'm not going to do any transformation step over here because we have something to get our main source of data. So right, just right click over here. You, if you just click close and load to, you get different options. So let me show it to you over here, close and load to. So by default, it will load it into table. If you click close, save and close. So if you click close and load to, you get this option. You can load the data into table, into pivot table directly, pivot charts, or you can simply connect to the connections only, or you can even add it to the data model and you can do some DAX calculation over there. But we are going to make it only as a connection. Super. Now, if I need to go back to the Power Query editor, you can see if I click over here, right click, I can go click edit over here. So I can easily go to the edit. Sometime it might happen that you are just into the session and suddenly this window is gone, query connection. Don't worry. You can go again to the data, click over here, queries and connection. That pane will open over here. So let's go right click and edit this query, or you can even double click that so it will open the query editor. Now we need to get the data from our folder. So I have an option to go over here, right click new and files, and I can click folder over here. And even I have an option to go new source file folder. Also, we can get the data from here. And if you ask me that, Faraz, can we get it from here? Yes, absolutely. If you are into Excel, you have loaded as a connection this one. And let's go to folder and let's get this thing over from the folder. So let me go and browse that path. So it is in Excel and Power Query, and let's click OK. So when I'm connecting to the folder, it is basically giving me all the files which are there in that folder and the subfolder. So right now we don't have any subfolder over here. So it is just giving me those files. But if I have a subfolder, then it will give me that subfolder as well. Now, coming back to the transformation, we need this sales data. Basically, we need to analyze this sales data. And there is an option to combine. So if all your files are like same structure, it has the same heading, then you can just simply hit combine and transform, or combine and load, and combine and load to. We have seen load to, and load is like it will directly bump it into the Excel worksheet. But combine and transform is like you will do that transformation step. So in case if your file is same, then it will happen. You can do it in that fashion. But we will be focusing on transform data. And I think in Excel 2013 and 16, they have a different name over there. So now this file, the Power Query has connected this file to, connected our files to that source. The source is, if you can see, the file folder. You can see that it has connected to my desktop and it has exactly connected to that specific location. Okay, so I need to keep my file in that location basically. Now, before I go and I do some changes, I'll just give a nice name, as usual, file path. Okay, and you can see that you get that information, the metadata, which is there, that when this is the last date it has been accessed, last date modified, create. So you get some nice information and records, and you can get some additional information also over here, which has been in the records. But we need to get that sales data in the Power Query. So I don't need this text file. I don't need this PDF. I just need that XLX file. And let me go over here. And before I go and do that, I need to make sure that it's future proof. I don't make it doesn't break. The query shouldn't break. That is actually the main purpose. When you're making the Power Query, you have to ensure that your query should not break. So we need to make it bulletproof, because sometimes some people, like when they save the file, it is in capital letters, Excel XS. So let's go transform and let it make it as a lowercase. So doesn't matter if somebody puts an Excel XX as a bigger, it will make it as a lowercase. Now, if you see that there's a function text dot lower, so that is basically, the function which is making this column as a lower. So it's a good way of learning Power Query functions, by using the formula bar. Now, coming to over here, now extension, now I will go and filter my extension to as an XLXX. So all the XLX files will come up. But what happens if somebody keeps some other kind of a file? But I know that my file will be always having a name called sales, or it will be a sale. So I'll just make it more future proof, so it shouldn't break. So I'll go over here, text filter, and then I can say contains, and contains, I'll call this as a sale. Okay, we can just call this as a sale because I have a file which name as a sale. So if I keep sales, then it will look for sales. Note, my friends, Power Query is case sensitive. So if you like put sales S over here, S, and hit enter, let's look over here, what's going on. Yeah, perfect. So it will just look for the word sales. And if you just hit and say sale, then it will look for the word sale. So it's case sensitive. Be careful with that. And I cannot just write as a small letter S. It should be exactly like SALE. Perfect. So now once I have this, now this is my file path which is set. Now what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to reference this file path, and these are all the steps which I have created. Now I don't need to do any kind of changes on these steps because these are perfect. So I'm just going to right click and reference. Okay, there's a difference between duplicate and reference. Duplicate will duplicate those steps, and reference will just like you are just saying equals to this cell, so it will be like exactly the same way. So it is equals to the file path. You see, it has a reference from that step. Now, coming to the file path over here, we have to give the data. So I'll call this as sales data, enter. And if I would be having multiple files over here, then I would click on this option, combine files. But before I click that, make sure that you give the correct name over here. Otherwise, the query, when it will automatically try to combine the data, it will just, take that uh, wrong name, and then all the queries will have that name. So let me show you how it will look. So now I'll be clicking it over here, combine. Okay, and if you just have that specific only one file, then you can just click over here. If you click on the white area, you can get this option that what is a file. So let's click over here, combine. So now Power Query is running in the background. And now this is the combined file. So if I would be having a table, Excel table, then it would be showing me that Excel table, and it has showed me that same files over here. You can see that. Okay, so it's in the sheet one. Yes, all my data in the other file also, it will be on the sheet one, and it will be looking like this. So let's say okay. Now in the background, the Power Query is creating the custom function, and it is combining the files, looking at sales if you have some other kind of files, and then it will just make these transformations and it will give us over here. So you can see that we have the transformation file. This is what I was talking about, that sales data. It will be like some different kind of a name. So always take care of that area. So these are the places usually people, they burn their hand and then they are not able to track it out. Now, if you see the sales data over here, Okay, there's nothing interesting things have happened over here. Can just see the change type step has applied over here, and I can see that it has hide some invoke the custom function. Basically, invoking the custom function is this is the custom function which has been invoked, and then it has removed the other columns, expanded that table, and then changed that type. Okay, nothing fancy over here. Let us go over here to transform table. The transform sample file and the sales data. It looks exactly the same. Nothing is changed over here. But here, these are the parameters file, sample file, which is there connecting, and this is the function, and this is the transformation file. Don't touch these three files. If you are aware about Power Query, and if you are a newbie, then I would not recommend you to touch. You can just go and see it, okay? But don't make any changes. You will then you might break the query. Just our work will be with this sample file, transform sample file, and I can just hide this pane. Now, whatever the transformation I will do to this Excel file, so I need that whenever I get a new file, it should be get applied to those file as well. So looking over here that I have this order date, I have this origin, but in the origin, I just need the last three letters of the country. So I can just go to transform, or I can just say split by delimiter. And even I have an option over here, split by delimiter. So I can split it by delimiter. Now Power Query is smart enough and it's quite intelligent that it understands the delimiter, and it will automatically given me that the delimiter is the comma. But it has also given me that option that in my data set, I might be having some commas in other place as well. So what we are going to do, we need only the rightmost delimiter data. So I'll be just selecting the rightmost and I'll click OK. So you can see that it has applied some change type step and it has given the origin over here. So it has broke that countries and I got that list of the countries. Basically, this is Alpha 3 ISO codes. And now if we go and look back and say me that Faraz, okay, the sales data is broken. Now, what is the use of doing that changes over here? I'll get back to you shortly on that. Why the reason this thing has got broken. It happens. It will happen every time if you have to just slightly change one step. I'll just remove the change type step because I don't need that right now. And I can just remove the origin because one, I just need this and I can just rename to country. And channel type online, perfect. This is good. Now I have another option. I'll just select Control A. I can just say Control A. So it has selected all my columns. And when I'll go to transform and I'll hit detect data type, Power Query is very smart enough and it has automatically detected the data type for me. But I have a slight problem with this data type. It is a date data type. Let me remove this step again and let me have a look. So this is the file which is sitting here and he's showing me this file. And this file is having the information stored, the date as DDMMYY. Am I audible to everyone? Because I see the connection is unstable.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Oh, great. So when I see this, okay, the query is getting break. I will go home again, I'll go transform and I'll say that, okay, I'll click this date. Now it should work fine. Oh, it's working fine, but I'm still getting errors. Now, my friends, those who are using Excel 2009, 16, 19, I think you don't, 19, I think you, 19 and 16 don't have this. Uh, this is called the column distribution, column quality view. So this is really helping when you are working on a large set of data. It tells you that, okay, you have errors in your files. But what is the reason is happening? How can we fix this issue over here? So there is a way in Power Query we can fix this issue. Is just select this column, okay? Right click, or I can even go to data types, selecting that column, and I can go and say using locale. Oh, sorry, right click, and I can say change type using locale. Now, why I'm using locale? The locale is basically my system settings, which is over here. You can see the date time, which has been set is month is the first, day, and then the year. So when the system is, I'm just selecting the date. So it is taking my system settings and it is just trying to clean that data. So if you have somebody sending you the files from New Zealand or from US, from Canada, and they have different structure of maintaining the dates, then you can handle that issue in this fashion. So let's go and say locale, and I'll be selecting date. And over here, since I know that it's from India, so I'll just type Hindi. Hindi, it will give me India. And this is awesome. So now you can see it doesn't matter. Power Query will automatically interpret this column date as an Hindi Indian locale setting. Okay. So now you can see it is error free. There is no error. Awesome. Now I can select Control A and I can say detect data type. Now my data types are awesome. Okay. So there is no problem. It's a data types, you have different kind of data types like numbers, decimals, and currency. So it is automatically taking that data type in consideration. Now coming back to the sales. So I have done all my changes in this one file, in the sample file. This is only when I'm combining the files, okay? But if I was having only one file which I need to work, I would have just worked on the sales table. Now the sales table, the reason why we are getting the error, let's go back and see. So when I go back, okay, this is working fine. There's no problem. But when I come to the change type step, let us look the formula. So it has hard coded that step of origin where we have removed that word origin in the transformation phase. So if I just remove this step now, remove the change type, now you can see that we are having the correct data. Now there is no problem. The query is not break. And let's go and see over here. Everything is working fine. Now we need to do the VLOOKUP. So we have quantities over here. We have the product over here, and we have the order date. Now looking back to the price table, let me go and show you the price table. So looking at the price table over here, we have those all information that we have the date, we have like 2017, 19, we have the headphones, everything. But the orientation of the data is in the column. Now we need to turn that orientation into rows. So let us look this price table. Now Power Query has one amazing feature. And if you guys are watching it, you are going to love this one. Okay. So hold your breath because I'm going to show you something really interesting. So over here again, I have got that change type step. So it is hard coding that information. Tomorrow, if I have a new file, it is automatically detecting that data type. So I don't need to change that data type. I just need it to be just plain, nothing. Don't do anything to that. And when I'll select this product column, right click and unpivot other columns. Now see what will happen. The data have transformed and it is now into row. And this is very helpful when you do any kind of an analysis, when you want to connect it to, you need to write some DAX measures, you need to connect the relationships. That time, this is really helpful. And this is the beauty of the Power Query. Trust me, I was having a VBA code and that was around like more than 2000 to 4000, 2000, more than 2000 lines just to unpivot the data. And now with Power Query, you can simply just select the column, right click, unpivot. Super, isn't it? Cool. Now coming to this day, so we'll just go again over here and say, I just need to make sure that when I go and transform, select data type, I just need to make sure that I select all the column. I can hold the shift key and select the mouse with the mouse. I can select the last column, so that will also select all the columns. I can just press Control A, so that will also select all the columns, and I can hit detect data type. Now in this place, I know my dates are perfect, so I don't need to worry about it. But still, if you like to use a locale setting, you can still force it to use it as a locale setting. Now there is one thing which is over here that we have all the dates which are available over here, and we'll be just going little into the advanced thing, but stay with me. This in this place where you can see the dates over here, we have the dates for 31st of 2015. But when I come to my sales data, okay, I have 1st of January, I have 2nd of January, and when I go and check my price table, I don't have 1st of January or 2nd of January over here 2018. So in that case, I will be not able to do the VLOOKUP. So we need to generate that information. And to do that, I would be just simply using the entire UI method. Okay, so I'll just select the column, go to date, and select this as a whole number. Now, the Power Query is asking me, do you need to replace the current step, or you need to add a new step? So I'll just click cancel. If I add a new step, so it is going to add a new step and then change it that number. So it will not change the date data type. Otherwise, it would have changed. It would have changed the attribute over here. So before I go and do, like, suppose if I need to, I've just forgot over here that I need to add the starting of the year. So if I would have the new step over here, I cannot go and add the starting of the year. You can go and see over here, add column, and there are two options. Transform will basically transform the column. Add column will add a new column. So over here, when I'll go add column, I can see that date option is disabled over here. But when I go to this step and see that date option is enabled over here. So I can just go over here, select and add month or start of the year. So this is what we need. And I will say insert. Now, when I'll go back over here, now you can see that the query doesn't break. So you have to make sure that sometime while adding the step between your steps might break your query. But so you have to make sure that the others depending steps are okay with that one. So right now I'm just going to remove this step. I'm just going to select both of these columns over here and then transform and change this to a whole number. Now Power Query has a really nice feature, where you can generate the list. Okay, so we are just going to go and generate a list. But before that, I'll just quickly show it to you in a blank query how the list will look. So let's assume that we need to generate the list of numbers. So I'll just go over here in curly brackets and say equals to curly brackets 1 dot dot 10. So you can see I just got that list over here. So I have made a video on YouTube, talking about the list. So you can feel free to go and check that as well. In detail, I'm explaining about the list. So list is very powerful in Power Query. You can do magic with that. So right now I just have created the list from 1 to 10. Coming back to our sales data over here, price table. Now we know that in Excel, when we convert this date to a whole number, these are numbers. So I just need to add 42005 till this date. So I can just go again over here and go add column, add custom column. This is a slight code which we are going to write. And this is exactly the same code, curly brackets. And we have the start of the year, 1, 2, 2 dots, and then that attribute. Click OK, and curly brackets close. So This is the formula. So you can see dot dots, and we will click OK. Now this thing has generated into list. Now, when I will go and click over here, and you can just say expand it to the new rows. So you can see that every date we have that numbers, and when we change this type, column to a date, you will get that date of 31st also. So coming back over here, and I will just change the name to date so I can save one step, date, and I'll click OK. Now when I'll come down, see the query has broke. So you have to be very careful that when you are trying to make any changes, you make sure that you do the steps correctly. So now I know that since my add column cannot find the custom column, so I can just revoke that step and add it as a date. But before that, I'll just remove these two columns, holding the control key and selecting that and remove, going to home and remove column. And even we can remove it from here. And this will span to new rows. And this we will transform, detect data type. No, we can just select it as a date. So now we got the dates and we got the product and we got the value. So the value will change after like 2016 for headphones, the product value here should change. See, the headphones has been changed in 2017. It has become the $40. So we got our records, what we need. Now coming back to the sales table, now we need to merge this table. So we have common key, what is available over here. So we have generated that common key. We have that date and we have that product ID, which is matching over here. Now, when we used to do VLOOKUP, we used to just able to do the VLOOKUP with only one column, right? It was like that we can do only VLOOKUP with a single column. But with Power Query, when you go to home, merge queries, okay, and I'll be taking this as a new query, So I'll say this as a new query. And if you click on merge query itself, then that query action will happen there and there itself only. So let's do it over here, merge queries. And the table, you can select the table which you wanted to do that merging. You need to do that VLOOKUP. Okay, so that's all the price table. And you can select, holding the control key, select the date. So first we need the order date and then we need the product. Now, if you zoom in, there's a cute little number 1 and 2 over here. You can see that is the number 1 and 2. Let me zoom it out. So I need to make sure that I select it into the same pattern. Like if I select over here product ID and date, this will not work. See, you found 0 matches. Power Query is very fast and it has given me the result that there are around 9,340 rows and nothing is matching. And this should be left outer joined always. There are other joins which I'll be not, you can find it on my YouTube channel as well, talking about those joins. But right now we are focusing only on left outer join, which works as a VLOOKUP. Now I will go back again over here to this table and I can just select the date first, holding the control key again and the product. Now you can see I got all the matches, 9,340 rows. Now when I'll click OK, that's how easy we have done that VLOOKUP. Now we will just expand and you can see that we just need only the values column from here because it is just matching that information from the sales table. And from the sales table, we just need only the value. So that's why we just need to pick up that value column from there. Coming back over here, price table and value. And you can use the original column prefix name. So if I just select it in that fashion, click OK. So it is saying that price table dot value. So this information is coming from some table. So you can easily identify that, okay, fine, it's coming from the price table. So let us go and do some calculation. And before that, I'll just convert my all my data types. I'll just go home here, transform and select auto detect. But if you have different kind of a data type, then you need to go individual column and change those kind of data type. Now this quantity and this price. Now let's go and do add and multiplication over here. Now in this multiplication, this is my total cost. So I'll say total cost of that specific order. And we are done with the report. Let's go close and load, close and load to, and load it as a table. By default, it will be as a table only because I have changed my global settings. I will show it to you right now. How is my global settings been changed? So now you can see everything is being getting loaded into tables. You can see that query, what I created, uh, that sales records, file path, everything is being loaded over here. This is, we don't need this thing to happen. So we just need only the sheet number 3, selecting control, right click, and simply just delete it. And so it will just delete that information from there. It will not delete the connection. Okay. So like if I need to load this thing back again to my Excel workbook, just I can right click and hit load to, select the table and just select the destination where you want it, or new sheet, and click OK. So that will load it. So I usually work a lot on Power Query. So I have just kept that setting by default because every time I go and I hit save and close, so everything just get bumped into Power Query in my Excel workbook. So I don't like that. So there is a way how we can handle it. Just going back to the data, settings, query options. And now when you go over here, you can select the default load settings, which is over here. It is usually use standard settings it will be. So just select specified custom load setting and uncheck these options. So it would just load it as a connection always. You don't have to worry about it. So you can make n number of queries, and when you at the last, when you click close and load, it will just create as a connection. Super. So we are good so far. Now let us quickly go and make a report, nice report. We are just going to go insert, and I'll just take this data and see new. Now I could have added to data model, and I could have write some DAX measures, and I could have done it. But let us make it very simple. I'll be having this countries, which is over here. This is my date column over here, and I'll just drag and drop it into rows. And I have my channel, which I'll drag and drop it into columns. And I have the cost over here. Perfect. So you have records available over here. Now let us do a little formatting. Going to number format. Going to numbers. Use 1000 separators. And this will be 0. Perfect. So we can just remove that plus and minus. I can just go create a nice chart over here. Recommend me some nice chart. This looks good. This is nice. So I'll just keep it on top of this records, or I can just keep it somewhere over here next to it. And I can close this. I can even close this. I don't need this now. And these option buttons, I can keep it for my users to make it more interactive, but I would just like to switch it off. I can just go to pivot chart analyze and hide them all. And let's go and give a nice title, chart title, sales data. Super. Great. So again, coming back to analyze, I don't need that 2018 to be summarized. So I can just make it plus minus, and now my chart is also getting reflected. Just going back to view, and we can remove the grid lines. We can just insert a new line and just take it over here a little bit and type the sales report for all the products. We are already products. So going to home. Now, if you have a habit of merging cells, please don't do it. Please don't merge your cells, okay? There's an option over here. You can just select it all the way, go click it over here, and you can just select across the selection. So that will just center align it, and you can get it. Never merge your cells, okay? Because that's a bad practice. I don't know why we have merge cells. Instead of that, if we would have center aligned, that would be much better. So making it bold, and then we can just add some nice color. This is my favorite color. Cool. So I have my sales report ready over here, and I just need one more thing to do is I can just go to insert and go to insert the slicer. I have to make sure that I keep my cell over here, okay? And then I click insert slicers. I can then go and select the country over here, or better we'll select the product, okay? That's nice, product. So we have product over here. So this is nice. So we have headphones, we have laptops, we have PlayStation, smart TV, and storage. Now we have done all this hard work, and somebody comes in our department and says us that, hey man, I have some data from 2015. I need you to do that analysis stuff again. Now, initially when we started working, okay, and we said that our goal is to work hard. Okay, no, sorry, our goal is to work smart, not hard. Okay, so now all this thing which we have done in this last, I think 30 to 45 minutes, you think we are going to do that thing again? No, never. You don't want it to spend that time again. Okay, but don't tell your boss about this, okay? This is a very secret thing. So now I have this data over here. I will see this new data. So this is a new file which somebody gave it to me. And it has like records of 14,536. Okay. And let's go and see back again on the top. Just clicking on the cell. Yes, it has order. It has all that same information because we are extracting it from ERP. Even if you see the date is maintained in that same fashion. So let us close this. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this file from here because I receive it. And I'm going to go back to my file, Power Query, and I'm going to paste it over here. Now I have the sales data for 2018-19, which we already worked and prepared the report. Now we need to prepare from 15 to 17. What do you think what will I do over here? I'll just go over here, right click and refresh. Now, if you see over here, data queries connection, you can see the Power Queries loaded that information, combined that information and loaded over here. And when I'll go back to my report and I'll hit refresh again over here, within fractions of seconds, we have that information. So pivot table analyze, let me go over here and just let me select this minus, right click, collapse, collapse entire field. Okay. So that is the beauty of Power Query. So we are working smart, not hard. Okay, so let the data come in any fashion. You just clean it up and just one right click refresh, and you got all your stuff done. You just made it very easy. So if somebody goes and says that, okay, fine, he has some more data, let him dump it to you, keep it in that folder, and then it will work. So Now, if I just show it to you how, let me show it to you that how it works in the background query, going back to connections, sales data, okay. Yeah, it is interesting to see that file path stuff, which is over here. So when you see the file path earlier, now I'll just hit refresh because it needs to get refreshed, because it has taken the last downloaded preview was earlier. Now it is 431. So if you see this refresh, yes, earlier we were having only the refresh. This was 2019, So that was only the refresh query which we were having it. So when we refreshed it, only that file which we were having it. So when we refreshed it, we got that other sales data also. And from there, the Power Query has combined those, and it has done the transformation in one file, and it has invoked the custom function. So when we will go and see that sales data over here, and that invoke custom function is happening on two tables. So it is happening over here. So if you see that last two table, that transformation happens over here. So whatever I have done that transformation over here, it is going and applying to each of these files. It is invoking that custom function, and then those steps we have done, and we got all our results. So close and load, and you can see over here, when you go over here, advanced editor. So this is a place where all the code has been written. You can see that all the steps what we have done are over here, and you can see them. And this is a very nice thing, query dependency. So if you are having a large set of queries, you can see the dependency of the queries. So let me fit this one. So you can see over here that I'm taking this data from the folder. It is having the file path. Then it is taking the sample data, which is the query transformation. So I know that once I click this one, I can see that, okay, which are the files which are being connected. So if I have a price table, I know the price table is connected to the sales. So before I disconnect or if I delete any kind of my query, so I will easily understand that, okay, which are the queries are going to get impacted with this one. And if there is any critical information, then before I delete it, I have to fix that. Then I can go and I delete it. And you can see this is just a blank one. This is the one which I showed it to you as a sample. Just delete this one, delete it. And again, when we'll go view query dependencies, you can see all this information again. So this is really nice. This is like an overview. It shows you, how your query is flowing. Great. Close and load. So how are we with the time, Deepak?
We have another 10-15 minutes. Then we can
Oh,
take a
okay.
profit.
Great, great. So actually, I was having another Excel file to show it, but no issues. But I would just like to show it to
Do
you
you
if
want to
you
ask
are,
any questions to audience?
sorry?
Do you want to check anything with the audience?
Yeah, please, please. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, okay? And I'd be very happy to answer them.
So I'll just check in there.
Yeah. Let us go and see our Power BI over here, the form, 24 entries. Awesome. So let's drive home. Great. So one thing, meanwhile, I'll just show it to you, there is a great tool, which is called Monkey tool, which is made by Excel Guru. And I'll be sharing I have already shared the link in that. If you download this file, you will get that resource files over here. So where you can learn the Power Query, where you can find that information, you can find it in the resource sections, and you can go and download that Power Query from there. So those are hyperlinks for learning more about Power Query, and you can find the link. So Monkey tool is basically focusing on the modelers, those who are doing modeling in Excel and or Power BI, So this tool allows you to check the refresh time and all those things, so it gives you a clear overview that what is going on with your query. So like this query slot, so it will give me an overview of all my queries, that how it is going depending, that sales data is depending upon the file, price table. So this is in dependencies. If I put in dependency, then it will show me that file path, sales data, sample, and how it has been connected. Now, the great thing about this tool is like if I need to go and make any changes, and it can just do the changes from here. I don't need to go and access into the query and do that changes. So I can do it straight away from here, and I can just click update. So that will just update that information. And even I can refresh that information from here and it will give it to me. Apart from that, like if you have a data model, then it will give you the measures also as well, what you have written. And this is a really amazing tool. You can see it has nicely indented the information, as you can see over here, and it's over here. Yeah, you can see it has nicely indented that information, and it's give us easy for understanding, that what is happening in that specific steps. So I can close it over here. I can see even the performance, model summary. If I have a model, like if I click on the model summary, it should take few seconds and it will just give me the model summary, that how my file path is connected, how the price table is connected. And if you have some measures written, it will give you all the measures. It will give you the DAX expression and everything. This is a great tool for modelers, and even you can use it. I usually use it just for normal details as well. It gives you the memory usage of the modeling, and this is a very interesting thing which I would just like to show it to you, like the time. Okay. Okay, I think my license got expired, so let me check. Activate. Okay, this is cool. Now let's try this. Oh, Faraz Shaikh. Okay, this should work fine. Okay, so here when we have, there's an option to see. I don't know why I'm getting this. But you can even create your parameter table. You can add measures from here. You can create the calendars, because there are some countries, they have different kind of calendars. They have starting, I think in India, we start our uh, accounts calendar from March onwards. After March, is our ending. So you can set up different calendars without any, hassles, and it works really fine. So let me see again over here. So like over here, we have the loaded if you need to load it anything to destination, you can straight away load it from here. Okay, so this is a great tool. If you are using it frequently, then you can just use it. It gives you really real-time performance of your model. If you have a lot of queries, it shows you that how much time it takes for processing it, and you can then change your the way your query is reading. You can change the steps and make it more fast for reading. Any questions here so far?
No,
Cool.
no for us.
Okay, so let me save this file. Now jumping to Power Automate. Power Automate is one of my favorite feature, which is in Microsoft Office. If you have Office 365, or if you are normal, if you have a window, or if you have an Office account or Outlook account, you can access Power Automate from there. So coming back to our slide, so I'll be try to be quick and just talk a little about Power Automate. So basically, Power Automate is RPA, which is robotic process automation, where you have different connectors, and there are connectors. Those are like bridge. Like if I need to post a tweet on the Twitter using my Power Automate, then I can just simply connect that connector, and I can just then easily tweet my tweets using the Power Automate. But Twitter is a very easy example. Let me show you a business scenario where you have a list of emails. You have Power Automate, which will be uh, building that gap, and you will be sending the emails to that one. So basically, if you ask me a very simple way how I can explain you about Power Automate, it's like a Lego block. You just build the blocks one and another, and you just let the action happen. So time for the demo, quick demo. Let me show it to you over here about this specific flow which we have done. Now, if you see this Power BI, which we were collecting these records, this information which we were taking it was on real time. So basically, I have created a data set in Power BI. And if I click on my Power Automate over here, when I click on my Power Automate, I have this flow. And okay, so this is in my other account. I'm really sorry about that, but I'll just walk you through the Power Automate. So this is just my normal Outlook account. Okay, so just a second. So when I click on Outlook.com, I'll just log in with my credentials. So you have this two-factor authentication available on Microsoft. You can enable that. So whenever somebody tries to sign in your account, you get a notification on your mobile. So that's a great stuff. I would recommend all you to use that. So coming to, once you come to, if you open your Outlook over here, and if you see, I'm really sorry about that. So once you open your Outlook account, or if you open office.com, you will find this. You don't see anywhere Power Automate, but if you click on all apps, you can find this Power Automate over here. So you'll ask me to log in. We should be in any moment. Great. So this is a place, where we can do a lot of automation stuff in your organization. And even if you have some of your personal stuff, if you have Office 365, or even if you don't have Office 365, still you can use Power Automate. So over here, I have like, this is an area where you can see there's a home. You have different approval sections where you can create your approvals. Like if you want to take an approval from the boss, you can just create a flow to take an approval. And you have business flows. You have my flows where it shows that which are the flows which are for you. There are some automated flows which I have, instant flow. We'll see that shortly. There are great templates, so like if we wanted to send an email, it's work like a mail merge, how you do it in Windows, but mail merge is having limited, we have some limitations, but this has broke all that limitations. So let us see, send email. And when you click enter, you get all that connectors over here. So you can see that flow readily available, that template, and you can utilize it, and you have to just grant that access to that specific connector to use it. Let's go back and see for Twitter. So if you have a Twitter account, like if you have something, you want to save a tweet on your SharePoint, you want to tweet, if somebody tweeted, you wanted that to come in Microsoft Teams, you can do with this. You can do great stuff with Power Automate. And these are the connectors over here. So you can see there are more than 250 to 300 connectors, and these connectors are like those API, which is building the gap between that bridge, and it is connecting our data, and we can do all those automation stuff. You can even connect your Gmail account. Okay, that was been asked to me in one of my webinars. Can we able to do it with Gmail? You can even do it Gmail. You can do a lot of stuff. Even you can connect it to your desktop, and these connectors are amazing. And I would recommend you guys, just give a try. It it is worth using Power Automate these days, especially for approvals. I would say yes. In COVID, there are organizations those who are moving all their approvals to a digital way. And this, by the way, this approvals will be only done by the person who will access to the account. So this is a great way of using Power Automate. And AI builder, okay, this is like you have an AI builder which can read the information from the PDF, and you can store it into Excel, and you can create your own models. And there are different kind of flows. So let's look over here, create. So in the create, we have like automated flow, like if I publish or if I tweeted something about Excel in Excel, then I need to get it into a SharePoint list, and I need to store that tweet into my SharePoint list. Or if there's an instant flow, it is like a manual flow. You like trigger it, or you just click on the button, and then that flow will run. So we have the schedule flow over here, the schedule flow, which is like you need that. You suppose, let us assume that you have some kind of an information, you wanted to read it every time from certain Excel file. You can then set up a schedule flow. UI flow is a new one which has been introduced in Power Automate, and this is amazing. It it access your systems. You can let your system access it and do the action. Like suppose if I have this PowerPoint file, I need to go and save as a PDF, then that can be done through a UI flow. And I can set that UI flow to a schedule flow, so I don't need to worry about it. I can just schedule it, and my system should be on. Then it will automatically open on that specific time, and it can save that as a PDF. So there are business flows also. Let us look a very simple one and create an instant flow, and I can just simply hit skip, or I can click manual trigger. Let us hit skip. It's very important to give the flow your name, so you can click over here and give the name your flow as send email. So this is for Excel in Excel. Great. And coming back to the connector over here. So this will be like a manual button. So it will be a manual flow and I can have some kind of an inputs over here. But now I have to make sure that this file, which is over here in the Power Automate, this is the list. You'll find it in your email list. So this is the email list. It has to be either on your SharePoint or it should be on your OneDrive. Okay. Even if you keep it on your desktop, it doesn't matter. You can still read that information, but you need to connect it in different ways. So easiest way is to keep it on your OneDrive or your SharePoint, and then you try to connect it. So let's say that we have this person name and we have Deepak. This is to inform you the webinar was completed successfully and I need to send it to this email. So this is my email itself only. So I just like to send it to myself so I can show it to you how it is appearing. So this file has to be kept it on the OneDrive. So right now on my OneDrive, um, close this, going back to my OneDrive over here, and I can just click on my OneDrive. So the file is kept over there. So you can see that webinars, and I have my file being kept for Excel and Excel, and that is a Power Automate file. So I need to go and get this file email list. But before that, make sure that your data is stored into Excel tables. That's very important when you are doing it with when you are working with Power Automate. So if you need to pull your information, this email list, it should be in Excel tables. So this information has to be in the Excel table. So if it is not in Excel table, then this will not work out. So basically you convert it into Excel table by pressing Control T and that will get converted. So coming back to our Power Automate, let's go over here, say, and we will be calling this connector called Excel. And you can see you will find two different connectors over here. Basically, one is like Excel OneDrive and business. So it's very clear that business is for the business version and OneDrive is like the one which we are having right now, normal office account. Now you have to get all the list of the detail list, get the list of rows in the present table. So once you click list of rows in the present table, now it will ask me the location where I need to search it. So basically it is asking me to check it into my webinars. And it's going in Excel and Excel. And we have Power Automate. And this is that file. So once I select this, you can see I get that table name, email list. The table name was the email list. So I get that information. So let me save this one and let us do a small test and let me show it to you. Trigger test. So if you just need to do the test, you can just select that test and it will basically run the flow. So run the flow. The flow ran successfully. Perfect. So this will show me that this was a manual trigger. And now when I will say that connect, go and connect it to this one, you can see that it is now named Faraz. You can see over here, Faraz and Deepak is in the list. So email body, those column, email body, name, and that's an item internal ID, which has been getting created over here. So let's go and click edit again. And now let's us send an email. So email, again, I need an email or I would say Outlook. And in the Outlook, we have option for 365, we have Outlook. So select outlook.com. If you are a business user, then you can select Office 365. So once I select Office, and I will just go and say send email. Now send email, there are two options, email with options. Select the latest version. If you are getting the latest version, select the send email. And now here, I would need to add two email. Now two email, let us go back and look our Excel sheet over here. Now two email is, this is the email and this is the body and this is the name. So I'm going to say over here, coming back to my Power Automate, I will say that go and add email. Now watch it carefully. When I apply add email, it has applied to each step because it has went into a loop, because there are multiple names which are emails are there, and that will be listed over there. So this values which is been into the loop, and that is the row one first email, and the subject will be like uh, Excel and Excel web not okay. And now I'm going to say here hi, and I'm going to put space name comma enter, because that name I need to pick it up from the name column, enter. And the body which is over here, I'll just add the body, enter. Regards, I will say Faraz Shaikh. You can just draft your email or you can just add the content. Now we need that every email what we send it, that it must have a different body, then you can send it in this fashion. So I think all looks good over here in the flow. There's nothing missing. Let's say save. So after this step is done, I need a notification on my mobile, so I can send a notification on my mobile as well. So, but we can just stop our flow over here. So let me cross finger and see. I can perform it using the new trigger function, or I can just say test this data. So I'll just use the previous one and test this records. Okay. So why I am getting this error? So I think I need to authenticate my email to get it used. There's some API connection issue. I think I have removed certain connections. So let me see over here in the connections. So I have all my connections over here. You can see my Outlook connection is over here. It's been connected. So let's go back to our flow and see. Let's go edit. Let's go and do a new test now. Let us do it that way. Yes. Now let's go continue. Run the flow. Yeah. Okay. The reason why it happened because the initial flow was not having that process to run the email. I have not authenticated, so that's the reason I got that error. So now if I go back to my inbox, if you see that the next email, it will be like, hi Deepak, thanks for the great arrangements, and it will be for us. And let me go and show you my email. I'll just pause it for a second. So now if I'm back in my inbox, if you can see over here, this email is already been created over here. You can see, hi Deepak, thanks for the great arrangements. And over here, if you can see this email, this is for your, to inform you the webinar was successfully completed. So this is just a tip of the iceberg, which I have showed you about Power Automate. If you keep exploring that, it's a big ocean and you can do amazing, amazing stuff with Power Automate. So let's go back and see over here what is happening. Let's refresh. See, we have some new data. Awesome. So that's all from my side today about Power Query and Power Automate. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you, sir. We will now
And
go ahead.
in just 1 minute, I will just share this slide if I can get a quick feedback from you guys about the session. And if you want to find me somewhere, you can find me on excelexciting.com. You can join my forums. You can post the questions about Power Automate, Power Query, Excel. Myself will be there, and the team is there, Excel and Excel team as well with me over there. So we are like one team. So that's why we make Excel exciting, not I make Excel exciting. So it's the teamwork which we do to make the community use those applications and utilize them to the most what they can. So feedback of this session will be really great. Over to you, Alina. Thank you. Any questions, please feel free to ask.
Yes, thank you, sir. We will now go ahead and take some time for questions. Just a reminder for all the participants, please be sure to type your questions into the question box.
Sir, I have one small question.
Sure.
Could you quote few more examples of Power Automate?
Okay. The best example, what I can give it to you right now in the COVID situation, you need to get some approvals from your boss. So you can just create a PDF file, keep it on OneDrive, and automatically the Power Automate will generate an email. It will send it to your boss. And then once your boss approves or rejects, you can get it, you can get the information, you can get the flow saying that this specific memo was, or this specific document was approved or rejected. I can give you a best example. Whenever I post a blog, uh, I post a blog, and there are certain of my subscribers who need that email. So whenever the post has been updated on my website, automatically the Power Automate creates an email for me. It takes the link of that and it sends it to the all my subscribers. Another example I can give it to you, like if somebody deletes a file from your OneDrive, then you can keep a notification that if any changes or any file got deleted, you should get a notification. So there are endless possibilities with Power Automate, and this is amazing. I would say a game, I just love doing on things on Power Automate.
Right.
Hope that answered the questions.
Yes, sir, that does.
I can
We
ask
have
any of
one
your
more.
business scenario. You can ask your business scenario as well, if anything is there.
Sure. Before that, sir, we have one question on YouTube. Can
Mm-hmm.
we directly download the Excel file from SharePoint using Power Automate?
You want to download it where? On your OneDrive? If it is on
I'm
OneDrive,
not
yes, it
sure
is
what
possible.
the
Even
user.
if if it is on your OneDrive, also it is possible. Even if it is on your system, also it is possible. We can do that one. You can keep a schedule flow. I already have such kind of a flow. Uh, so if there is any file, there are some files which I need to take a backup on regular basis. So I have scheduled a flow that every morning 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. before my staff comes to the work, I take those backup with the Power Automate and I keep it on my OneDrive. It can be done.
Okay, so we have few comments saying wonderful session, very useful, amazing
Thank you.
session. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was indeed an informative session. And on
Yes.
behalf of Excel and Excel, I thank you for taking time and sharing your wisdom. I would also like to extend our thanks to all the participants for your time and support. We appreciate you being here. Hope the session was useful. An announcement for all regarding our upcoming sessions. Our next session will be on 28th August on analyzing data with Power BI by Amit Chandak, Chief Analytics Officer at Canerica. And on 4th September, we have a session on business analytics, what, why, and how by Venkatesan M, Director of Projas Consultancy Services Private Limited. And on 11th September, we have a session on data visualization in MS Excel, tips and tricks by Jordan Goldmere, Microsoft Excel MVP, founder and COO at Excel.tv. And on 18th September, we have a session on 10 common DAX formulas in Power BI by Chandeep Chabra, founder at goodly.co.in. And on 25th September, we have a session on HR analytics using Power BI by S. Banu Kumar. Thanks again for joining us today, and we will see you in our next session. Do not forget to like the video, and for more updates, subscribe to our channel. To know more on EIE Fresh Talk, use the link in the description box. Stay tuned for more Fresh Talk. Have a happy weekend and thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, great. So we are still live on YouTube or disconnected?
Yeah, we are still live on YouTube, sir.
Great.